Do you ever feel like everyone's overly horny about the Chiefs getting wide receivers?
Do I make you horny, baby? Do I?
Are the Chiefs on the verge of making a blockbuster trade? One prominent sports writer thinks so. Plus, the Jaylon Moore signing has been called the most head-scratching move of the offseason by ESPN. We're going to talk about it. Welcome back to All Chiefed Up. We're back with another podcast
for that ass.
Yeah!
Listen up, listen up, listen up. If you enjoy the Chiefs content, do us a favor, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and share this video with a friend of yours.
You're listening to All Chiefed Up.
First up, before we get into all the other stuff, let's talk about the Chiefs re-signing defensive tackle Mike Pennel, Steve. Matt McMullen reports 33-year-old Pennel returns for his third consecutive season in KC and his fifth overall, including his first stint with the Chiefs from 2019-2020. He had 320 defensive snaps last year, which ranked third amongst defensive tackles on the team, behind Chris Jones and now Turk Wharton, who is in Carolina. Steve, how do you like the Mike Pennel signing?
It's a no-brainer. It makes total sense. It's depth. It's a familiar face. It's one that the guys love in the locker room. And he's effective when he's out there, Mike. He's been a great run stuffer for us several years in the playoffs and helped us get some rings.
Yeah, like you said, he's a stout run defender. I think last year he was ranked 13 in the NFL last season per PFF versus the run. So I think it's a no-brainer here. He is getting a little older, 33 going on 34. Might the Chiefs try to replace somebody of his caliber and his size in the draft with a defensive tackle? Possibly, but they also need to look to be replacing Turk Wharton as well. So are they going to go for the big 340-pound run stuffer guy, or are they going to go for the sub-300 slasher type guy like Turk Wharton? Remains to be seen. They could go both directions in the draft. It's a pretty deep draft for that.
All right, moving on. Bleacher Report's Chris Knox put together a list of potential trades, and he has the Chiefs trading the Colts for wide receiver Alec Pierce. Mike, what do you think about that one?
Yeah, that's something we talked about last season. However, I just don't think the Colts are going to get rid of Alec Pierce. I know they drafted A.D. Mitchell last year. You would think so, but they talked very highly of Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce does a lot of good stuff. He can stretch the field. He's got pretty good hands. I know that Rashee Rice may not come back as healthy and as quick as we would like. I know that D-Hop left in free agency, but we just drafted Xavier Worthy last year. We've brought back Juju. We've brought back Hollywood. Steve, we got plenty of weapons here. I just don't know if we would make such a move for a $9-10 million wide receiver who now you're going to have to lock up long term.
Do you ever feel like everyone's overly horny about the Chiefs getting wide receivers? I don't know if we really need it, Mike. They drafted Rashee Rice. They drafted Xavier Worthy. Both hits. We have Juju in as a wide receiver 4 because we got to re-sign Hollywood Brown, and we really didn't get to see what he could do in the offense last year. Just a small taste. I think he could have a big year if he can stay healthy. And Alec Pierce, Mike, he's not been the greatest for the Colts so far. He had a slow rookie season, a slow sophomore season. He finally had a bit of a breakout season this year, but his breakout season, the stats are literally what Xavier Worthy did in his rookie season. So I don't think there's anything groundbreaking. I don't think the Chiefs need him. And I think people should just lay off the Chiefs getting more wide receivers. I think if they want to add to that room, you do it in the draft, you keep the guys young, and that's the way to do it.
Yeah, look, Alec Pierce is a big, tall ex-wide receiver, Steve. He led the NFL last year with 22.3 yards per catch average, so he can stretch the field. It is a big target for Mahomes, but like you mentioned, we have Xavier Worthy that can stretch the field. We have Hollywood Brown that can still stretch the field. I think they could go to the draft here. I don't think you have to bring in a guy that's getting ready to sign a big contract. You may only get him for a season, or you're going to have to pay top dollar for him because Alec Pierce is going to demand some form of money that we're not willing to pay a wide receiver. We never are. You're not getting him on one-year prove-it deals for $7, $8, $9 million. It's not going to happen. So I don't think you give up valuable trade assets and draft capital to go out and trade for Alec Pierce, and then you're going to turn around and be in a situation where you can't even keep him. I think you go to the draft, you look in round 3, round 4. Heck, we've even talked about the possibility of Luther Burden falling to you in the end of round 1. And I know, everybody's going to be in the comments section being like, you can't throw to the receiver if you can't block for the quarterback. Yeah, we get it. But the Chiefs are going to take best player available, and that may not be an offensive lineman. This could be somebody like a defensive tackle, a defensive end, or even a wide receiver, Luther Burden, Steve. I don't think anything's off the table here the way Brett Veach has played this offseason.
And just to touch on your point, if they have trouble with the offensive line, which there is no quick fix in this draft, Luther Burden would be a perfect option. 75% of his receptions come within 10 yards. So if Patrick Mahomes needs to get rid of the ball quick and have a playmaker, that'd be a great one. Oh, and one more freaking thing. I don't know if we need Alec Pierce because I don't really care about having a guy on the team that looks like a lead character in Cobra Kai.
Rude. Oh yeah, right off the rip, I'm getting that leather and tobacco vibe and that bourbon vanilla. This stuff right here, straight fire, baby. You work hard, you play hard, and we know Chiefs Kingdom cheers hard. And when you do that, it's obvious you work up a little stank. I mean, come on, we're stinky humans who survive on barbecue and Patrick Mahomes highlights. But you don't always want to be at musty level 10. We don't. We're trying to smell nice. And for us, it's this right here, Mando, baby. You wake up, you shower, you start your day, but eventually you start to get a little, ripe. You catch a whiff and you just pray nobody else is offended by your stank bubble. You don't have to walk around smelling like Bigfoot's Grab yourself some Mando full body deodorant or some Mando whole body deodorant spray. They even have whole body deodorant cream. You have no reason to stink. We absolutely love Mando, and that's why we partnered with them to bring their goodness to you. Look, we're super big into fragrances and colognes, and this stuff smells fantastic. This is bourbon leather, and it smells incredible. There's so many reasons to love it. It's safe to use for your pits, to your balls, to your big old disgusting filthy feet. It was created by an actual doctor who wanted to stop the misdiagnosis and mistreatment of odors. Mando is clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. And no, that doesn't mean you can be a degenerate piece of and not shower for real. It helps with odor. It doesn't perform miracles. There's 4 scents. This bourbon leather here is fantastic. They also have Clover Woods, Mount Fuji, and Pro Sport scent. So do you want to try America's #1 whole body deodorant formula? Of course you do. You can find them at Walmart, Target, and other retailers across the country. But for the best deals, go to shopmando.com. You can pick up a Mando starter pack. It's absolutely perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like a mini body wash or deodorant wipes, and you get free shipping. Free shipping is huge. I've been known not to order $100 worth of stuff because I didn't want to pay $10 for shipping. But this is what I want to offer to the ACU crew because you guys are special. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% of your starter pack when using our code ACU to shopmando.com. That's SHOPMANDO.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. And if you don't love it, they'll give you a full refund up to 60 days later. That's how confident Mando is that your balls won't stink. Go to shopmando.com and use code ACU to get 40% and free shipping off your Mando starter pack. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence head to toe with Mando. Thanks for Mando for sponsoring this video. We got some Mando action quite literally for that ass. Get it up in there. Those butt cheeks, baby. Steve, that would be a pretty head-scratching move, to be honest. But if there's another head-scratching move, the Chiefs' blockbuster free agency deal with Jaylon Moore was called the most head-scratching move per ESPN analyst Seth Walder, Steve. He said, I will give 2 here, talking about head-scratching moves, because there have been so many. The Bears signing defensive tackle Grady Jarrett to a deal worth $28.5 million fully guaranteed, and the Chiefs signing offensive tackle Jaylon Moore for 2 years for $30 million. He said, as far as Moore, there are spots in roster building where taking risks makes sense. Patrick Mahomes' left tackle is not one of them. Moore is somewhat of an unknown, but what we do know, it isn't pretty. His 83% career pass block win rate would have ranked 63rd out of a possible 67 tackle qualifiers from last season. Steve, do you think the Jaylon Moore signing is a head scratcher? Because a few years ago, we called the Jawan Taylor signing for $80 million a head scratcher. Do you think Jaylon Moore falls in this category?
So I don't think it's a move for people to absolutely fall in love with, but I also don't think it's a big head scratcher. It's a very Brett Veach move. He went out and got a guy that has a high ceiling and maybe can come in here and succeed, maybe even be Patrick Mahomes' left tackle for the foreseeable future if it all works out. He did play in behind Trent Williams, one of the best to ever do it. I think it's a good risk to take. We talked about the offensive tackles coming in this draft class, Mike. There's only one out there that I think is just like, hey, plug in and play, and that's probably Campbell. Chiefs are not going to get him. I think there's a couple other guys that are intriguing. Calvin Banks and Josh Simmons are probably the most intriguing to me as far as left tackle prospects, but there's nothing about them that screams they're a home run. They still have some work to do. I think if Simmons were to pass all the medicals, maybe he's somebody to look at the end of round 1. If they think that Banks won't get shoved into the guard position because of his short arms, maybe they take a shot on him. But it's still somebody to play in behind. Talking about Jaylon Moore, for these young guys to get in and get up to speed, because what we're seeing with the Chiefs is we're trying to fix a glaring hole through the draft, and we've not been able to get one that can just plug and play. They have to develop. And so far, it's kind of a question mark if Andy Heck and crew can develop these guys into being starting left tackles.
Yeah, we talked about all the offensive tackle prospects. We did our top 10 on our members only morning live. If you want to catch that, go back and watch it. Join.allchiefdup.com. Become a member. It's only $4.99. Starts at $4.99. Super simple, less than a gallon of milk. Get over there and do that. But Steve, we talked about a lot of this class, and there's not too many of them that are just ready to come in and play left tackle. You're going to be in the same Kingsley Suamataia position that you were in last year. You're going to be in the same Wanye Morris position you were in, because there's not a lot of these guys ready to go right out of the gate. I think that's why Brett Veach went out and paid $15 million per to Jaylon Moore, because he was a little bit more positioned to do it this year. You mentioned Kelvin Banks. I think he's awesome. I think he might be the best left tackle prospect there is. Will Campbell can probably do it, but he may get kicked inside the guard. A lot of people like Mimbu. He's a right tackle, guys. He's a right tackle. I would not ask him to come over to the left side. And so that leaves Simmons and Connerly from Oregon. Simmons is coming off that ACL, and Connerly is still pretty raw. So there's not a lot of options there. And if you want to go to the end of round 2, round 3, you're definitely getting into raw talent. And you're looking at guys like Cam Williams from Texas, who shouldn't even have come out of this draft. He should have went back to school for a year. So you don't want to be in the same predicament where you overdraft a guy based on talent, then you have to plug and play him, and then he's going to struggle, and then Andy benches him in week 2. It kills his confidence, and the cycle continues. We don't need to do that, Steve. I like the idea of Jaylon Moore. I don't think it was that head-scratching to me. Me and you actually like the Jaylon Moore signing more than anybody.
All right, Chiefs Kingdom, it's your turn. Get in the comments. Let us know what you think about a possible trade for wide receiver Alec Pierce to the Colts. Also, do you like the Jaylon Moore signing, or do you think it was a head-scratcher? Also, if there's anybody in this draft that you like at the tackle position, be sure to put that in the comments as well. We'd love to see it.
That's going to wrap it up for today. Thanks for liking, subscribing, clicking that bell. Plus, share this with a friend. We'd appreciate you for it. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time. Go Chiefs.